Screw your freedom.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled to.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
Has there ever been a doubt, ever, folks, that it's hit the fan? Well, for me, certainly not since that cool March day I spent in extreme Northern California, lighting up a cigar, grabbing a glass of scotch, and sitting down and saying, folks, this is it. They've started it. They've kicked it off, and it's going big. And we're starting to see some of the most insane, bizarre, ridiculous, and also the logical and reasonable consequences of the policies and thinking of these political derelicts who are in charge at the local, state, federal, and international level. So I do want to start with a little bit of local and national perspective. Oh, by the way, we'll be doing the Q&A here at the end of the video. I'm going to get the first half. You guys get the second half, the bottom half of the hour. So get your questions into Jolene, who has made it into the virtual studio. Welcome, Jolene. Had me worried there. Whew. It's hard to do this, folks. I answer emails. Some emails are like books. Others are a quick comment and a video. Everything takes time, folks, and you do too. I value your time, and I value that you come here to listen and support this channel. The struggle is real, folks. The fight is on. And I'm starting to see really good results from you guys doing set it and forget it. When the show's over, you guys are going over and you're going to the Prepared Mind channel, the main page, and clicking play all and going through and doing a marathon binge session. You don't have to sit at your computer. You can just set it and forget it and walk off. It's screwing with YouTube, folks. That's all we can do there because they're screwing with us. Let's screw with them. The same way, folks, you're going to love this. The same way our good buddy Elon Musk is screwing with these fruitcakes. And he's done a great job. Let me tell you a little bit about what he's up to. Where is it? Here we are. Incredible stuff going on, folks. Right? Social media is our tool. So you and I can talk to each other. So you and I can share information. So you and I can make our own decisions. Of course, big tech, Google, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. They don't want us talking. They don't want us thinking, having our own opinion. Well, too bad, right? We're going to do it. But this is amazing, folks. So you do your part with set it and forget it, and we'll let Elon Musk do his part. And this is incredible, folks. Here we go, right? Twitter shareholders are very upset and angry, and they're going to sue. Twitter shareholders are going to sue Elon Musk over his delay in stock disclosures. My response to this is good. Sue Elon Musk for all you can. Piss him off. Piss off Elon Musk and make him even more determined to screw with Twitter and buy it outright even. Just do it, guys. Keep messing with him. Piss off Elon Musk. He has probably one of the largest stashes of FU money on the planet. Yes, he does. So I say, yeah, go for it. Do it. I really wish Elon Musk would buy YouTube. I would love to see that, folks. Do it, Elon. Buy YouTube. I don't see any reason why he shouldn't buy YouTube and, crash all kinds of stocks out there that are worthless. Okay. Now, let's get into some local stuff that we see has a national effect. Now, in Los Angeles, one of the bastions of left-wing liberal socialist stupidity, they're having a crime surge, folks. And not only in the downtown area, this crime surge is spreading. The growth in crime, criminal behavior, criminal activity, which includes things like drug use and prostitution, drug selling, but it also includes things like theft, robbery, assault. And it is migrating, folks. It's getting into more wealthy codes, zip codes, that is, kind of like Beverly Hills 90210. That's right, folks. The surrounding areas of the shithole portion of LA are now starting to feel it. Once again, when we talk about you and me and this 10-mile radius around our world, and we go, okay, 10 miles away, those people can walk here. They can cause me trouble. Who are the people that live in this area? Well, in Los Angeles, folks, 10-mile radius, that shithole that's 5 miles down the road, yeah, those people can walk to your place and cause a great deal of trouble. Give them a couple days. They'll walk 15, 20 miles, especially if they're getting food and water. They're being rewarded with it. This is, folks, Democrat cities and Democrat states. They're the worst of the worst, and SHTF, Mad Max, shitholes in the making. LA, Portland, Seattle, San Francisco, Oakland, Sacramento. How's that for the West Coast? Right, come back east. How about Kansas City, Milwaukee, Chicago, Dallas, Fort Worth, and San Antonio? You name it. Atlanta, Baltimore. Anywhere there's an NFL football team, consider it trashed, including down in the great state of Florida, Miami, Jacksonville. Funny, football city equals shithole. Interesting how that happens, huh? Oh, yeah, folks. It is coming, and it's coming hard. And the media says people are afraid. Really? Well, who did you elect, people? See, the people in my city aren't afraid of the scumbags in Los Angeles. Number one, because I'm in the South, not in California. Number two, people in the country, they had a little bit different attitude than people in the big-ass urban areas. People in the suburbs got a little bit of a different attitude. And people who live in remote areas, they got a way different attitude. And I did enjoy living around and amongst those people as well. Anyways, guess what? People are afraid. Yeah, no shit. Democrat policies. Here they are. Well, if you think that was a bit of news, if you think the prepared mind is worth it, why is it that I ask you guys for your help when it comes to things, folks, like supporting this channel by sharing videos and notifying politicians? Not because it has the profound, deep effect that we want it to, but because it's the right thing to do, and it does have a cumulative effect. If I tell 10 people in a day, get prepared, and only one of them does it, I have won. If I tell 10 people in a day to get prepared and none of them do, I know all 10 of them have thought about it, and they're one step closer once they listen to me and then go, yeah, those things that John talked about, that's some bad shit. I'm not going to get prepared today, but I'm going to keep an eye on it. How many of you were that person 1 year ago? That person right when Cerveza Bug started. How many of you were that person a year before Cerveza Bug? You're like, I'll keep watching. This John guy's got some points, but I'm not sold yet. I'm not so certain. How about 10 years ago? Compared to today, 10 years ago was paradise, right? Wow. Well, it's gone to shit, folks. Now, I want to talk about one major issue that the world is having. All right, I talked about local and state and federal. Now let's go international on SHTF, folks. They're turning up the SHTF heat on us, and I want to turn up the thinking on them. This channel is about satire and philosophy. It's about thinking for ourselves and getting prepared, right? It's also about set it and forget it. Okay, but folks, once again, I want to show you an entirely different perspective. It's one that you'll never get on mainstream media. No one will ever question things the way we do here. Nobody, folks, on the internet, I don't think, is going to make this point. Are you ready? On your marks. Get set. Let's talk about this. Zelensky, folks. Zelensky offers a swap of an arrested pro-Putin opposition leader for captive Ukrainians that the Russians are holding. This is quite interesting. That almost sounds like he's trying to make a trade, that he's cooperating, that he's working with Russia. Okay, leave the headline out of this. Once again, folks, let me show you an entirely different perspective. So, Voldemort Zelensky, godlike savior of Ukraine and civilization. This man has captured his own democratically elected, we're supposed to believe, citizen. The government of Ukraine was supposed to have a democratically elected representative. That's what this guy is. So he's captured his own democratically elected citizen, a member of their Congress, and arrested him, folks, for saying nice things about Putin. That's what he's done. He's a pro-Putin opposition leader in the government. Oh, he said nice things about Putin? That's his crime? So he's been hunted down, captured, and arrested? What? No free speech in the Shangri-La of Ukraine? No human rights in the Eden of the East? Right? So Zelensky captures, arrests, imprisons, and then holds a free man. He should be a free man. A Ukrainian citizen, he's holding him as a hostage. So the Nazi skinny jeans wearing, light in the loafers, fruitcake, knob gobbling, violent coup d'etat takeover leader of the country, puppet monkey and glory hole attendee of a non-freely elected president is the example of leadership and righteousness that the American people should revere, worship, support, and sacrifice their children for by sending them to war in Ukraine. Give me a mother frickin' break. This is the leader. This is what we're literally, folks. He captures a member of his own Congress for saying nice things about Putin and holds him hostage and for ransom. Now, I'm going to say this. All is fair in love and war. I'm going to say this, right? If we go to war here in America and we got bad guys running around, yeah, they're going to get waxed. The difference is I'm not pretending to be Jesus incarnate. I'm not pretending to be the leader of the world, the holier than thou example of goodness. This man is what I said he is. He's supported Nazi troops. He is a member of this Nazi party. He is definitely light in the loafers, and he definitely is a knob gobbler. He definitely is a sock monkey, puppet monkey of rich oligarchs. He is a violent coup d'etat dude who took over Ukraine with the help of the CIA and other secret services that helped install them, folks. He's not a freely elected member. No. It was a violent military takeover of the country. He's not the epitome of goodness and righteousness. He is a scumbag, in my opinion. And this is a fine example of what he is doing. Unbelievable how the media wants us to believe he's good and will not take a look at this. What is he really doing? And when examined, right? Right, he's not a good guy. When you really examine his politics, what got him in power, the decisions he's making, how people are being hurt, how he's gone against his word and broken agreements, it's not a good guy. And if he's a really good guy, he should have said what we would say. What do we say as Americans? You don't like the country? There's the border. Go cross it. He should say to this dude, you like Putin? Go to Russia and live with him. Exile him. Is that as evil as capturing him, imprisoning him? I'm sure they're saying hi to him very nicely. Yeah, right. I'm sure they're really saying hi to him very, very nicely. Why don't they just catch and release? No, they're holding him hostage, right? They're holding him up for ransom. You want to go free? Then we want something from you. That's unbelievable, folks. I can't see any other way around it. I really can't. I'm tired of taking their narrative and going, oh, okay, let's deal with this. Understand, folks, it's a complete lie. Everything is a complete lie. So let us continue. And once again, I want to thank you for your support, especially you guys here on Patreon, where you pay $2 a month and you get to join us for live chat. Now, Jolene, do I sound like I'm too hard on Zelensky, that I'm too mean and too rough about this guy? I mean, should I give him more of a break? Does it sound like that I'm pro-Putin, or does it just sound like I'm tired of the lies and the bullshit? I mean, literally. It's just frustrating. It has hit the fan, and this country is going down right now. Inflation's going up. Oil prices going up. Food shortages everywhere. Can't get baby formula. It's being rationed. Am I being too hard on these people? I don't know. I mean, I just typically come here and talk to you guys, and we ask questions. Once again, here's a question. We've threatened Russia and said, look, we're not going to buy your oil. No more oil, Putin. Jolene says, nope. Okay, thank you, Jolene. Putin, right? We're saying, Putin, you're bad. We're not going to buy your oil. We're going to stop buying it. We promise anytime now, we're going to knock it off. You're going to be sorry. And I said from the very beginning, folks, from the very beginning, the prepared mind prediction is that Russia is going to sell to China and India, and they're going to buy at a discount. They're going to buy Russian oil at a discount, which is still way, way, way more than the previous low oil prices prior to the Ukraine conflict. So Russia is going to be selling at a premium. Everyone else is going to be getting a discount. That's what I said before. So the question is, will a full oil embargo against Russia stop the war in Ukraine? And I'm going to say, no, it will not. Putin has said he's not going to quit. But this is a question everyone's pondering. What else can we do to Putin to make him stop? At this point, nothing. Let's see. You've taken his richest people in the country and you've frozen their bank accounts, stolen their property, stolen their multi-million-dollar ships. The whole world, including the United States of America, has not respected the rights of individual people, human rights, and threatened Russians, kicked them out of the country, denied their passport visas, sent them home. The whole world has. Let's not buy Russian vodka, everything we can. Anti-Russia, anti-Russia, anti-Russia. Russian people are being hurt. Aren't we supposed to believe that in Ukraine, the Ukrainian people are sacrosanct? They're sacred individuals and they must be protected. What about the Russian people? Well, they're Russians. Boo! Really? Really? We're supposed to punish the Russian people for what Putin is doing, but we aren't supposed to expect the Ukrainian people to suffer for what their president, Zelensky, is doing. See, the people always suffer for what the leadership does. So is a full oil embargo going to stop the war in Ukraine? No, it's not. Putin will find workarounds, just as China and India and other countries are working with them. Russia has been suffering for years, since the collapse of the Soviet Union. They've been suffering for years under various restrictions and special taxes and limitations put on them. And the U.S. dollar has been weaponized against Russia. And they basically had it. They're not going to quit. In fact, Putin came out and said this, right? If you recall, just yesterday, he said, they don't understand in the West that Russians unite when they're attacked, when they're punished, when they're hurt. And the Russian people are being attacked. Now, if the United States and Europe and NATO could just target Putin and hurt Putin, that would be far different, right? Be far different, but they're punishing the whole country. And again, this is an old technique, and it never, ever, ever, ever works. That technique is blockade a country, embargo a country, And the people will be so mad, and there'll be so much pressure that their leaders will give up. Nope. The people just realize that they're being used as a tool. We always are, folks. Whether you're a Russian or an American citizen, we're used as a tool. And we're played as fools, folks. We're played as fools. Let me give you an example here. Once again, folks, in this channel, The Prepared Mind, we look at things from a position of intelligence, neutrality, and freedom and liberty. Now, the United States government is expanding its intelligence sharing with Ukraine. It is stepping up its arms, that is, weapons that it's sending to Ukraine, including war helicopters. That's right, including helicopters. So, you've heard of lessons learned. How about lessons unlearned? Well, Vietnam, right? Yeah, well, that was a long time ago. Maybe they forgot about Vietnam. How about Afghanistan? That's a little more recent, don't you think? Yes, right? Unpopular wars that the government bungled, screwed up, and Americans suffered. Once again, the people suffered. We won another with Russia via Ukraine. We won another Vietnam, another Afghanistan, only this time with Russia backing them. Can we afford, folks, to keep spending endless money on endless wars? And can we afford to give up the lives of more of our patriotic Americans through, combat? And all, folks, for the lies of politicians and the profits of war mongering scumbags and the military industrial complex. Oh, they love to stand up and wave the flag and call it national security. Oh, they would love to say this is about energy security. They would love to say all kinds of things to make it look patriotic that we go and fight, when it's always about rich people enriching themselves. It just makes my head want to explode because it's all lies. What you and I can do is prepare, because their lies are unraveling and they're going to punish us. Do you think for a second, folks, that Cerveza was really about Cerveza? Or do you think it was about locking the country down to hide their errors, their mistakes, their judgments, their screw-ups, their mishandling of both the economy and then a potential, outbreak of the flu? So it became Cerveza, and they locked everyone down. And anytime anyone stood up to them, they said, well, fine, we're just going to punish you longer. Right? It's about punishing us, hurting the people. We're supposed to worry about what is happening to the Ukrainian people in Ukraine when our own country is this close from the same thing, when Australia is locking its own citizens up. See, they want us to be worried about some other place, folks. But look at here, how close we were. Literally in 2020, the summer of love, the summer of the mostly peaceful protest. Well, people, folks, you and I and many others are waking up. Their narrative is failing. Now, half the country basically is a bunch of Democrat morons. The other half are a bunch of Republican morons. And there's a small percentage, folks, of intelligent people who look at everything, right? I'll probably get in trouble for that. How dare you say Republicans are idiots? Well, what are rhino Republicans, folks? What are independent Republicans? I'm about freedom and liberty. Freedom and liberty. But their lies are failing. And this is the key part, folks. Only 6% of Americans right now, that includes everybody, polled, only 6% of Americans agree with and believe when Joe Biden says Russia is to blame for the inflation that's happening. 6%. Their lies are lies. Their story is BS, and nobody, folks, nobody is buying it. Nobody believes them. It's all bullshit. Their narrative is failing, folks. And those 6%, by the way, are the dumbest amongst us. Maybe they ought to go fight for Ukraine freedom. Maybe they're the ones who put Ukraine flags on their cars and their doors and their property and their trees. People are waking up. Aren't you glad you are a prepper? we've got I can't go into that one. There's a lot of stuff, folks, here that I wish I could talk about. But on the preparedmind.club, you can get links to stories, links to videos, links to discussions, links to articles that we cannot put anywhere else. So again, I want to thank you for coming to Patreon. It's not just about the videos there. It's not just about being first in line. It's not just about being live with me and discussing what's going on. It's not just about you having a voice, even though this is really important. So many of us wish we had a voice that could extend past, the 100 feet surrounding us, that we could actually talk and explain our idea and ask questions and help other people. And so through this channel, by doing live discussion with me, you have a much, much, much louder voice. You got something to say, you want other people to say it, to hear it, to think it? That's what this channel is about, right? It's about helping each other. It's about satisfying that need to get the information out of there. And I just love it. I absolutely love it. And this is going to make you smile. You know how Biden is letting in these illegal immigrants by the hundreds of thousands every month? Well, remember when I said that Texas, Governor Abbott there, is putting these illegals that are in the country that are allowed in, so I guess they're legal now, putting them on buses, charter buses, and sending them to Washington, D.C. And the governor of Florida is sending his newly illegal entries to Delaware. Well, the first bus of special immigrants have been dropped off just blocks away from the U.S. Capitol. They're arriving, folks. They're getting off the bus being told, here you go. Welcome to America. There's Congress. Go down to the White House, guys, right? And check in at the White House. We have rooms there for all of you people, courtesy of Joe Biden. Mention his name at the gate and be insistent, because eventually they will let you in, right? Lobster, steak, and cerveza for all. I love it. Keep taking them there. Can the mayor of Washington, D.C. stop buses and ask who is on this bus? Show us your identification. Or is that racial profiling? Is that a violation of their human rights, telling them that they can't come to Washington, D.C.? No, you see, this is the problem they're in now, is what are they going to do if busload after busload after busload of illegals are dumped in D.C.? Oh, it's going to put a strain on D.C. What do you think it's doing to Texas? It's going to put a strain. We don't have the food or the resources, the bathroom, the housing. What about Florida? What about Texas? What about Mississippi? What about Louisiana? What about New Mexico? What about Arizona? What about California? See, up in D.C., they don't give a shit. In fact, they want things to be harder for you. So I think this is great, folks, that the first bus finally rolled in. Thank you, Governor Abbott of Texas. Thank you, Governor. That is freaking beautiful. Now, let's move to something that's a little dirtier, if we shall. Where are we at? Holy cow, we're almost at the 30-minute mark, not the 2-hour mark. That's the Sunday Night Live show. Get your questions into Jolene. We will, folks, get to your questions. But the New York City subway shooter, you heard about this, right? Some dude just opens up. Turns out it's a black guy. His name is Frank James. And like the Waukesha parade killer, right, he recently released a video manifesto. And he posted a video about the new Supreme Court nominee, Ketanji Brown Jackson. He's a black nationalist, which is, here we go. Here we go, right? There is, folks, a huge, huge, huge problem with race and race relations and issues in America. Socially, folks, the far leftist commies, they are the problem, folks. They're pushing real hatred, right? This guy, Frank James, used race as the excuse, race as the motivation to kill people, to kill Whitey, to kill people, folks. Now, Who are these far left commies, these communist groups? Well, you have the Black Liberation Army. So liberation means there's slavery. So slavery is still an issue. Anyways, he was a member of the BLA, the Black Liberation Army. But who else is pushing this racial hatred, right? BLM, Black Lives Matter, and the NFAC, the Not Effing Around Council Committee, whatever they are. I think they're the NFA communists, right? And who else is the problem? Corporations, folks, with their racial wokeism. The educational system with the critical race theory they teach kids, and the government policy and corporate policy out there pushing critical race theory, blaming white people for everything. That is where the huge problem is with race in America, is these divisive groups and the divisive policy and the divisive publicity. I grew up with all different races in California. I was picked on and beat on by everybody, right? Whether they were redheads or any color, it doesn't matter. It's not a question of race. It's a question of what? Just people suck, right? But here we are, folks. I thought we made all of this great advance. Nope. They chewed it up and spit it out. These leftists, and they are, folks, communists. Period. That's what they are. Now, let's move on to your questions. I'm going to make you famous if you want to be. If not, get your question in. A question, a comment, a statement, a subject, a topic, an individual, a personality. Or if you want to play Stump the John and, tell one lie, tell one truth, and see what I have to say. See if I can pick the truth out. Let's get to it, though, folks. Let's get to the Q and the A.
Are you ready?
This is an action-packed episode, folks. This is kicking my butt. It has taken everything I have to chug through today. Wow. What do you want to talk about? What's on your mind? It's hit the fan, no doubt. We've got Jay Clifton. He says, John, are you buying into the snake venom cerveza bug thing? Also, when do you think we can expect the election variant? Let's address the cerveza bug snake venom. I'm not buying into it. No, I'm just not. Not buying it. If you want to kind of follow that thing, look up COVID and snake venom on Google, and I'm sure you'll find all kinds of craziness, all kinds of claims, and I'm just not buying it. Right? What I do know is that if your horse gets worms, you take horse dewormer, and you're good. That's what I do know. I'm not going to mess with snake venom. I'm not going to mess with any of that stuff. Now, this is probably a more salient, important topic, Jay. And that is, when do you think we can expect the election variant? And this is the election variant, right? Is it the unicorn variant? Is it going to be the Delta Epsilon variant? Is it going to be some sort of mutant love child of other variants? What scary name can they give it? Folks, the unicorn name they gave it was preposterously silly, trying to make it sound so dangerous. And it turned out to be less dangerous, but it's highly contagious. Yeah, that's what we were told about all of them. Someone gets within 100 miles of you and you're not wearing a mask, you're good as dead. The election variant is going to come out, and I know this is obvious, and I'm not sidestepping it. It's going to come out at the most opportune moment in time. That's when it's going to come out. And let me explain. Like I said, it's not a cop-out answer. We just don't know what the future holds for us with regard to politics, war, monetary issues, or economic issues. We just don't know. But we can guess at the very moment that we think we're getting ahead, that we've got something, that there's an outbreak in freedom and liberty, that's when they'll hammer us with it. So we'll just start with the election itself. which is going to be, I think, the primary motivator behind the release of the new Dick Dastardly variant. The new, name your villain. The Lex Luthor variant, right? Did I just date myself with Superman comics? Right? Whatever the name of the variant is, one, it's going to be scary. Two, it's going to come out with regard or a reflection on the election. If the Democrats look like they're really losing, it'll come out sooner. Maybe in September, they'll start talking about it. And then October, it'll be a big deal. That'll be the October surprise, right? Oh my gosh, it's back. We're all dying. Look at this. Look at this. People are dying in the streets, right? We can't vote. We have to suspend the election. This is too crazy. The Republicans, they got rid of mail-in ballots and they got rid of this and they stopped that. And so we have to cancel the vote. You see, they suck, the Democrats. What's their platform? Now, even the Republicans, I have to admit, have a shitty platform right now. It's the individuals that have been out there doing a good job of exposing rhinos and going after the Democrats. That's been really fantastically done. Well done. But the whole party as a whole has lost, right? And I know this name, it provokes a lot of ire. But Newt Gingrich successfully did his Contract with America program in the 1990s and won back the House of Representatives. Not a bad program to follow. He basically nationalized the individual districts' races by coming up with a platform that the Republicans could follow. As a result, the Republicans won back the House, which they hadn't done in like 40 freaking years. We have that opportunity again for the Republican Party to come together under a platform, a contract or compact or agreement that we will, make America great again, that we will make America free again. Whatever it is, it just needs to be done. And man, my forehead is just sweaty hot. It's crazy, folks. It's absolutely crazy. They will find a way. Now, they could say, we've got a war. They could have a real or false flag or something in the middle, a terror attack on the country. How about a bio attack? And say it's oh my God, it's a bio attack. And now look at this new super duper Lex Luthor variant is out there. It'll come at the most opportune time when things seem like they're lost for the Democrats, meaning they're about to lose and have their asses handed to them. That's when they'll pull this out of their hat. That is if, folks, if they have the means to pull it off. If they don't, then they can't. And that would be great. I would love them not to pull off another stunt. But the mainstream media, the willing lapdogs in every city where every television station is, every satellite network also, they are always more than willing to follow the lead of the Democrats. So they really don't need anything. They can just massively email and blast and text and everyone, every station. Here's your talking points. Follow it. Here's your narrative. This is what you say. For whatever this new variant is, whatever the problem is, the emergency. Once again, never let a good crisis go to waste. Now, you kind of jumped the gun here, Jay, a little bit early. This is going to be more of a summer topic for us. When we get into the heat of the summer and we start thinking about the fall and the election's getting closer, right? Maybe BLM and Antifa fail this summer to get very far, right? Maybe that turns off Americans so much that they don't want to hear any bullshit, right? They don't want to see their country burned down. Maybe they can't blame Trump now, so are they going to blame Biden for all the destructions? They're going to blame the governors and the mayors? Maybe they can't use Antifa and BLM the way they did in 2020 and then blame Trump for it. So they'll have to come up with something else. But that's going to, I think, be a major concern come summertime. So let's move on. What else have we got? Jolene. Here we've got Chester, and it says they're turning us against each other. Prepper versus non-prepper. The sheep versus goats. Divide and conquer 100%. Yeah, I see what you're talking about. I don't encourage attacking other preppers, but I hear this is going on out there. right? The divisiveness in social media, right? For, little splinter groups that break off. They don't have channels of their own, but they create these groups, these like cult-like things. And I think they're basically a bunch of, what shall we call them? They're agents, right? They're paid shills of the government, and they go into other people's channels and they foment arguments and discussions, and they hide behind inane arguments, a religious concept or a political concept. And if you don't agree with them, then they absolutely attack you. Absolutely. So, what I want is cooperation amongst patriotic type people. I don't want fighting and infighting and stupidity, but it is that divide and conquer technique, the psychological warfare technique of getting your enemy to turn on themselves, to doubt themselves. So I got to ask this question, right? If we're patriots, what is the number one thing we should be believing in? What should we be supporting? Number one, first and foremost. Well, it should be the law. And the law is the Constitution. And the Constitution recognizes the people, you and I. It recognizes our sovereignty. And it says we have a right to say what we want. It doesn't mean everyone has to listen. It just means, free speech. You have the right to self-defense. In other words, freedom and liberty is the number one thing. And it's embodied in the Declaration of Independence and those same rights also in the Constitution. First and foremost, that is first. If we can agree on that, we should all come together. Right? How you go about doing this, right? Of course, winning the battle or, winning the war against evil, it's a little trickier. It really ultimately, folks, has to come down to might makes right. Ultimately, because if just talking worked, then we would have fixed this a long time ago, right? But instead, we have evil people with evil designs and evil goals. And it's ultimately going to end up in a very nasty, violent confrontation that we call SHTF Mad Max. I don't think it has to happen on every street corner, but it's coming, folks. It's coming. There's a lot of people out there that hate freedom and hate liberty and hate you and me. And they would love to see us die, and they've actually said so. And I think that, we have to be prepared for that. So, Chester, thank you very much. Yeah, don't turn on other preppers, folks. My thing is, look, if someone's saying something you don't like it, let them go. Gone. Gone. Focus on what you know to be the right thing. Getting yourself prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Learning your 10-mile radius around you. Coming up with a plan to deal with the people, the issues in your area. Be prepared for interruptions in the supply of electricity, fuel, food, water, etc. Just be prepared and then help others, right, come to it. And in a lot of ways, this is why I say, look, you decide for you. Whatever your culture, your subculture is, wherever you're at in the world, whatever your geography is, right? Everyone's preparations are custom to them. Their age, their gender, their skill sets, their environment, the radius, that area around them. That's really, folks, where it's at. It's really where it's at. Whew. Wow. It's a lot. And that's why right, the old question is, how do you eat an elephant? Well, one bite at a time. If you come here and spend 15 minutes and watch a video a day, or come to the afternoon show and do a monologue and a Q&A, you get a little bit of information every day, and you can assimilate it. You can chew it, right? You can ruminate on it and then digest it. It becomes part of your knowledge base. If you come into prepping and you have no idea what's going on, good golly, it can overwhelm you and chase you off. Like, I don't have time and the energy for all that. Right? So we do it a little bit every day. And that's why just keeping up every day is a lot easier than trying to keep up, at the end of the month and try and suck it all in. It's hard. So do what you can. Help other people wake up, folks. That's it. Now, moving on, we got David. He said, this could truly be the death of the middle class. In California, it is already virtually impossible to afford the American dream. Continued. And most people are stuck in renter's limbo. They say, quote, as goes California, so goes the nation. That is an old statement. And it's also a pretty true statement. But I think that with the speed of technology today, that saying about as California goes, so goes the nation. It's not that California is smart or good, folks. It's just that it's very liberal. And liberals are socialists, and all socialists are communists taking their time getting there. And communists are socialists in a big hurry. And there's been a push to get communism into our country by the communists. And it's been allowed and promoted by the government, folks, at least the last 40 years. And California is a bastion of liberalism, which means it's a bastion of socialism and a bastion of communism. But with technology, other states have caught up quick. Illinois, Michigan, it would seem, or at least parts of it. And of course, New York, right? But that means New York City, not upstate. Now, the American dream. The American dream, I have had a hard time with my whole life. Understanding this concept. What is the American dream? I originally thought it was the American dream is work hard, and you can have what you want, whether it's a house or a car or a family with kids, the white picket fence, owning a business, being free to speak or write or do anything. I think that really was the American dream, is you could do anything you want. It's up to you to do it. That was the dream. And then it kind of became home ownership is the American dream. And I thought, well, wait a minute. I'm paying 2% taxes on my home every year. By the time I get done paying the house off, I will have paid the government as much in taxes, right? Because I'm paying 2% of the house value every year. After 50 years, I paid the full value in taxes alone. Unbelievable. Not to mention all the interest you pay. That's the American dream. Ouch. Right? The American dream used to be own your property and no man may take it from you, period. You own it. Well, that was back when we had a low deal title. Now we have title fee simple, right? And it means you're going to pay a fee, right? Whether you like it or not. It's a simple fee that you pay, and if you don't pay, then they'll take your house from you, sell it, satisfy the tax debt, and supposedly give you any money that's left. Yeah, the American dream is in big, big, big trouble. People can't afford it. As far as renters limbo, I mean, at this point, this is why, you know, before I left California, a long time ago now, it seems, I sold off the last of my real estate. It was like, I'm tired of being tied to the ground and then forced to pay a tax. You know, would I rather just, you know, pay someone else a little bit of money and just stay in the property? Okay, there you go, right? So, you know, I guess man at the bunker there, you know, he's, I'm not paying to live on the land. I'm paying to live under it. Anyways, any way you look at it, being free has a cost. It has a price. Nothing is free. And it's pretty frustrating, right? It's like the freest people in America, folks, are the homeless. And that's an indictment, I think, on the system. When the people who, you know, live on the street, they don't have any bills to pay except those they choose. I see a lot of literal homeless people, folks, with cell phones, you know, and they beg a little bit of money every day and they live. They certainly seem to have a different lifestyle, but wow, isn't that interesting? Quite interesting. The American dream, it's in big trouble because freedom is in big trouble. If we were all free, folks, if we had liberty and property rights, we would have a different American dream. One which says, well, I bought that property and now it's mine and no man may take it from me, right? The roof may leak, the wind may blow through it, but the king may not enter, meaning that property belongs to me. Absolutely. The same should exist for your food, your guns, your car, your motorcycle, your bicycle, the clothes on your back should never be able to be taken from you. It is your property by right. That's the old system of freedom. That seemed to have disappeared at some point in America. probably before we were born. But yeah, definitely at some point in America, there was a time when you owned what you own. Now, it doesn't seem like you own anything because at any moment they could strip it from you. Right? There it is. Let us move on now if we should. We got the last 10 minutes. What do we want to talk about? I got some exciting, crazy stuff to talk about, but I want to get to your guys' questions first and foremost, always in the bottom half of the hour. And now we've got Tennessee Mountains Preparedness. He says, how about putting the illegals in the rows of empty houses in Detroit? Government could flip the bill better than sleeping on the dirt. Now, see, this is what gets me, right? Is there are rows and streets in areas of Detroit that are absolutely abandoned. Well, we can't even give that to the illegals, folks. And I'll tell you why. Because the infrastructure there isn't being paid for and maintained. Right? There's sewer, water, natural gas lines, electricity, phone lines or internet cables. All of this has to be maintained. It has to be paid for. Right? There's nothing free, right? The phone company didn't put the phone lines in the ground and then say, just pay me every day for the rest of your life, and they don't do anything. They're constantly working on things, fixing things, upgrading things, etc. The same exists for not only just the telephone company and the cable and the internet, but water, gas, sewer, electricity, you bet. Everything costs money. And the idea that the government is going to just put people there, and then I guess the government's going to tax you and I to pay for it. And this abandoned area in Detroit. I mean, I do like the idea that you're discussing. Hey, we got these places where no one wants to live. Let's put those people there. Well, how about if those people go there and start working and paying taxes so the government doesn't pay, and that they, right, that they be, I don't know, I guess, given jobs, create prosperity. Well, now let's just take those illegal Mexicans, pick them up out of Detroit, set them down about 50 miles south of El Paso, back in their country. And then say, why don't we send homeless Americans to Detroit and put them in those houses? And then give them jobs and create prosperity for them so they can pay their taxes and pay their fees for water, sewer, electricity, gas, and then make that city flourish again. Well, the problem actually isn't the city. The problem is the government. It's not the climate, it's the government. Right? It really is government has taxed business out of, taxed them out of there. It's more liberalism and the destruction that it brings. But they're spreading it, folks, wildly. They're spreading liberalism into law, into schools, into courts, into the military. There's not one sector of our lives that isn't completely infiltrated with socialism and liberalism and all this rainbow fruitery. All of it, folks. There's no part of anyone's life where you can't see it. I saw a restaurant today and it had an American flag, and under the American flag it had a rainbow flag. And I thought, they're telling me they don't want my business. But folks, this is where we're at in America. It has hit the fan, and most people out there don't even realize what they're doing to themselves in the country. All right, thank you, Tennessee Mountains Preparedness. That is a great question, comment, subject matter. 1, what to do with the illegals, and 2, what to do with Detroit and other shithole cities that have been destroyed by their political leaders, the Democrats. What a day, what a week, what a year. Unbelievable, folks. Sally Sue says, John, so many channels we follow are talking about inflation and food shortages. Now, there's still plenty of food in the store. Do you think the U.S. will actually see food shortages? I'm glad you brought this up. There are a lot of discussions. There's shit as the fan is not one topic, is it? Number 1, inflation. The government has printed U.S. dollars and sent them all over the world, and fewer countries want them. They're sending them back. Additionally, we have a shortage of products, a shortage of things we want, a shortage, not empty shelves, a shortage. And we've been noting this. Different places around the country are having different results or different consequences because of the action. There is now a record number of ships, and I can't even tell you what the number is off the coast of Los Angeles, off the coast of California. I remember when it was 10 ships are anchored, and then 25, and then 50, and then 75 ships anchored. I don't even know what the answer is now, but I was told, I read through the mainstream media, that is the most ever. They're anchored offshore, and they're not being unloaded at a significant or proper rate. Whose fault is that? It is the people working at the ports, from the crane operators to the truck drivers to the forklift guys, everybody. They're just not doing their job. Why is it all of a sudden, since 2021, they can't unload the ships properly? Did they just forget how to do their frickin' jobs while they're getting union wages, folks? Unbelievable. So we have fewer goods because the ships aren't being unloaded. We have more money here. So you have more money trying to buy less objects. That's inflation. Right? We have a shortage of fuel. Yeah, there's a shortage. Didn't say there's no fuel, but a shortage. So that's inflation. Food shortage. Well, they're killing chickens like it's nobody's business in several areas. Is that enough to cause everyone to starve? No. Will it cause a shortage? Is it going to be a shortage that you're going to notice? Quite possibly. Not guaranteed. Your store may always have enough chicken so that it goes out and it puts 2 or 3 packages in the shelf and then waits for them to be sold before they put out a few more. Other places, folks, have none. I've gone into a Costco. Now, you can go into a Costco and then out of a Costco, usually without being carded. Once you try and buy something, then that's when they card you. But you can go into a Costco or a Sam's Club and you can look around. And I've been in one when they did not, folks, have very much meat. I thought, this is a Costco and they've got less than 20 pounds of hamburger. There should be hundreds of pounds of hamburger in there, right? That's how it works, right? You see it or you don't see it. I've experienced it now, folks. I've gone down aisles in stores that weeks ago were full, and now they're very, very low. Sometimes, folks, half of an aisle is completely vacant. It could be food. It could be other things. So you said there's still plenty of food in the store, Sally Sue. In your store? I mean, are you in Texas or Mississippi or Florida? Or are you in Minnesota or Wisconsin or Pennsylvania? Depends on where you're at in the world, where you're at in the country. I think it's going to get worse. I really do. I think we're going to have things get a lot worse. I am expecting to see actual food shortages in some area. I expect to see rationing. We're already seeing and hearing about rationing. Baby formula. I expect to see problems with fuel, oil, gasoline, diesel. They've been threatening us for weeks now that there's going to be a shortage of diesel fuel. We were told that an airport in Texas was going to run out of jet fuel, which is another cleaner version of kerosene or diesel. So they're telling us there's going to be shortages. We're seeing some evidence of shortages. So I'm going to take them at their word. We're going to see shortages. Now, will we starve? Will we completely run out of fuel? No, but we're going to have trouble. And back when I was a kid, back in the early 70s, there were lines, folks, that would go around the block. And cars were told that if you had the odd or even number on the license plate, wherever it was at, the first number, the first, whatever it was, if it was even, you went certain days, and if it was odd, you went other days. In order to make sure the lines didn't exist, because people panicked. And back then, folks, cars got a lot worse gas mileage. They got, 6, 8, 10 miles to the gallon. That was it. So you ran out of gas a lot faster back then. So you had to spend more time at a gas station. Of course, they also had bigger fuel tanks, I think, than the modern automobile. So it's a lot of different ways to look at this. I do think we're going to see actual food shortages in certain areas, certain places with certain products. I sure hope it does not become a chronic problem, an acute issue. All righty, we're at a 1 hour mark. Holy cow, folks. Where does the time go when shit hits the fan? Once again, I want to thank you, and I want to ask you, let everyone that can, when the video's over, go to the main page, click, the Prepared Mind right down there, Prepared Mind channel, go down to the videos and hit play all, and just let it play. Set it and forget it. I want YouTube to be confused, shocked. I want them to look and go, what the heck is happening here? I want people, folks, to do that, to screw with YouTube, to upset YouTube. I hope other channels do the same thing with their viewers and say, hey, set it and forget it. Right? Don't watch their shows on TV, folks. Do what you know you want to do, right? Stop believing their lies and live your own truth. Chance favors the prepared mind. Aren't you glad you're a prepper? And I don't buy their lies. I don't. I question everything. As soon as I saw that story about Zelensky holding the guy hostage, I'm like, how is this guy supposed to be the good guy when he's holding someone's life hostage? Unbelievable. Expect there to be more unbelievable, more bizarro land, more unbelievable violence and stupidity because shit has hit the fan. Chance favors the prepared mind. Aren't you glad, folks? And are you fully prepared? Godspeed to you. Semper Fi.